Hello beautifuls, Cody Montarbo here, founder of Montarbo Skincare, always here to help you have the most healthy, glowing, and gorgeous skin possible. And first of all, I just wanted to welcome all of the new people from all over the place. You guys are so amazing. I appreciate you taking the time to comment and to ask questions and to subscribe. So just wanted to throw that out there. Welcome and thank you guys all so much. Also, I'm having a little bit of a difficult time trying to respond to all of the questions right away, so please just be patient. And I appreciate you being patient with this video. It's taken me a little bit of time. I've been out of town a lot with some family things going on. So I am now doing the video on how to lighten and brighten under eye circles. My skin looks super bright. I'm doing a different light, as you can see, and I am just gonna go for it because I don't really care if this light is a little making me look a little shiny. All that matters is that I show you how to do this. So today we're going to do brighten and lighten and tighten the under eye circles and also the eyelids. Now, just a disclaimer and warning, you know, I'm showing you how to do something a little bit off label, so I want you to always remember that you hold the power. So if your skin is very sensitive, don't listen to what I have to say. Use less product or don't even do this. You know, this is a little bit more of an aggressive type of treatment because most people are very paranoid of doing anything under the eye or on the eyelids. And in my office, I've treated tons and tons of under eye circles and eyelids. I am a little bit more aggressive, so if you're a person that's just really cautious and careful, then either don't do this or use less, or just try a little bit and see if you can get your skin to just get used to what I'm going to be mentioning to you. All of the ingredients I'm using are from my brand because that's what I use, that's what I know works. But I'm going to try to give you other brands that are similar or different types of maybe ideas of products that you can get your hands on. So, you know, not all my products are for everyone. They are a little bit pricier, but they are active ingredients. So what you pay for is really, you know, when somebody buys, like for instance, my lactic acid, you know, it's 10% pure non-buffered lactic acid. You're getting a highly concentrated amount. So yeah, it costs a little bit more. It's $65, but you know, this thing lasts like 6 months. So anyway, so let's get to it. So the first thing you want to do is always remember it's your eye area, so you want to be careful. You always want to make sure that you're using less and you kind of build up a tolerance as you go. Now, I spoke in my other video about dark circles that, you know, a lot of times it's genetics or the environment, but sometimes, a lot of times, there's a little tiny layer of brown discoloration that occurs under someone's eye from either rubbing their eyes, or nobody really puts sunscreen right up there, so we almost always never have protection in this area from rubbing or not putting sunscreen. And then also glasses, certain glasses don't actually block enough of the sun, and so you can get a little bit of brown discoloration around the eye. So I'm going to show you how to brighten that. You can see my eyelids are super bright, but you know what? I've been doing this for quite some time, so I've gotten them to be this bright. And I promise if you do even just part of this or try to experiment with similar ingredients or a similar type of process, you'll be quite shocked on how different you'll look, how brighter, how more youthful you'll look by just treating the eye area. If you do have the really stubborn, like kind of your artery is up at the top layer of your eye, there's obviously not much you can do about that but concealer. And if you do have something going on that's genetic, obviously you're gonna, you know, you can't really help, you won't be able to brighten that part, just only if it's dark discoloration underneath the eye. And also what you eat does, you know, matter in this area. Salty foods, alcohol, smoking, pollution, allergies, those all affect on the eye area, make it a little bit darker. All right, so I know I went off topic there. Anyway, I just want to clarify all that. And also just please be careful. Do not follow my instructions if you are very sensitive, and you are also just doing this at your own risk because I'm not doing it on you and I don't know what you're doing or what you're using. So you are doing this treatment at your own risk because it is a little bit off of label, okay? Off label. So the first ingredient and product I'm going to use, this is a 10% non-buffered alpha hydroxy cleanser. Now you can find something similar. Another brand that would be similar would be like Peter Thomas Roth is Clinical, Jan Marini, those types of kind of brands, or even MD Forte. And you could also look into another brand is Dennis Gross, he has the orange kind of packaging, Dr. Dennis Gross. He has a lot of peels and agents, so these are all similar in those brands. They're a lot more aggressive, a lot stronger. So if you can't maybe afford one of these brands or mine or whatever, then, you know, do what you can, okay? Just try to do what you can. It's really about trying it and being consistent, and then you can, you know, buy more expensive stuff later. So if you have a 10% alpha hydroxy cleanser or a serum or whatever, I highly recommend that that's what you put on first, and you just kind of put it right underneath your eye. And this is a foaming, there's no chemicals in here, so it kind of, the foam goes away fairly quickly because it's just concentrated without chemicals, like, yeah, anyway. So what I do is I just kind of prep the eye area. What I'm doing and why we use a 10% glycolic is because it will kind of open up that top layer. It'll change the pH, it'll lower the pH just enough to start to accept the other ingredients and solutions that I put down. So I just kind of rub like this. If you know, get it close under that eye, be careful. Obviously, if you get it in your eyeball, rinse it out. You're gonna be okay, don't worry. And this just is taking off any top layer of dead skin. It's prepping my skin, it's opening it up, and then it's going to allow for further penetration of whatever else I put underneath. Now, if you don't have this, it's fine. I'm sure you could get away, but it's always good to kind of prep your skin correctly at first. That way you're just getting the right solution and the right amount into your skin. So yeah, I could add more. If I really had a stubborn discoloration, I could, you know, add a little bit more like this. And then I just do the brow like that. So I'm kind of just doing the brow right here and a little bit of the lid. People are always paranoid about the lid, but I treat every client's lids and under eyes when they come in. So obviously be safe, be careful, use your own sound judgment. If your lids are very sensitive, obviously, then don't do this, okay? But I just kind of brush it into the brow. So I'm getting enough on the lid, but I'm not putting it on my lid. Does that make sense? You don't want to necessarily put on the lid. That could be a little too irritating, especially with something like this that's pretty strong. Okay, and then I just kind of lightly tissue that off. Don't use a towel. I don't recommend a towel. If you know, a towel can be a little rough, so I recommend kind of like a flat cotton or pad or something. And you can see I have a little tinted moisturizer on. And so I just kind of dab that. I leave it a little wet. Okay. So now my skin's kind of open. The top layer's been already taken off. Sometimes you can already see that it's a little bit brighter already. So now it's ready for whatever I'm going to treat it with. So now I'm using 10% lactic acid from my brand. It's not buffered, so it's super strong. So, you know, I always tell people to be very careful with this, but find some type of lactic acid that you like or get along with. I've heard some good things recently about, I believe it's called Pink Elephant. They have a product, even The Ordinary. I have not used either of those, so I'm not recommending them, but I have heard consistently from other people that they seem to be decent. Peter Thomas Roth also makes a similar product, and I have not used that, but I have read pretty good reviews. So anyway, I just want to always make sure that, you know, that you are getting your hands on the right products that will actually work versus, you know, I don't know about you, but I get frustrated where I try to use a product and I'm like, it's not working, and I've paid a fortune for that. And I'm a pretty impatient person with results, so that's why I'm just trying to recommend brands that I know either I've used or I know my friends in the industry have used or work, or I know something similar, if that makes sense. So I just put about 6 drops of lactic acid on this gauze. I do prefer a gauze pad instead of cotton in there, so it's a little rougher. You can get it at Target or wherever. And this is going to be your applicator, and you'll be able to lightly rub it onto the eye area. And then later, because it's gauze and it's a little rough, we're gonna buff it in there a little bit. We wanna push that lactic acid. I know people are gonna ask, well, can I just do only the glycolic? Sure, if that's all you have, sure. You know, I'm not saying you need to do it like this. I'm just saying I do it like this. This is how I do it when somebody comes into my office and I give them a treatment. I use this stuff. I do use a couple other things too sometimes if it's really bad, like this, a little stronger. So I'm just going to rub, be gentle, you know, be gentle, be careful. You're just kind of rubbing to the center perimeter of the nose area, eye area, like this. Sorry about the light, honey. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm just rubbing. Oh, it's gonna be a nightmare. I'm so sorry. So I don't know why it's doing that. I'm still getting used to like figuring all this lighting and technical stuff. I suck at it. So as you can see now, I'm kind of going in the opposite direction. Okay, this way. And now I'm gonna lightly kind of rub it. Lightly, not scrub. Lightly rub and kind of buff it in there. Okay, I go all the way to the center. If it gets in your eye, rinse it off, obviously. Okay. I don't know why it's doing that. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, now I just do the eyebrow rub. That. A little bit under the brow. That. Okay. I already see it's brighter. It's obviously a little red too, but already it's getting nice. So also want to, this also works on wrinkles too. So I kind of just want to, you know, do a little extra. So and now I might add another drop or two, and I'm gonna dab. I'm really trying to dab wherever there's discoloration. I don't really have any more, so you know I'm just pretending I have some there. But this will help tighten my eyes. Now I kind of dab. It's burning, so you know, because it's the eye area and you're new to doing something like this, I say for now just leave it on for about 2 minutes. If you can't tolerate the 2 minutes, rinse it off. If you're a person that's aggressive and you're using other agents and you're just, you know, kind of hardcore on that next level, then you know, trust yourself to know maybe you could do 3 minutes or longer. I want to empower you guys to know what you can do, to trust yourself. You can push it to that next level, but never take what I say as that you have to. Like, trust yourself. If it feels too aggressive, if it feels too stingy or burning, rinse anytime. With this one, water just neutralizes it. So it's burning, I can feel it already. Now I'm leaving it on. Now I would recommend that you rinse it off after 2 minutes, but I have gotten used to this product now, so I'm going to leave it on. And the geniusness of lactic acid and why I use lactic to treat is because it also binds moisture to the skin. So this is a very sensitive area. A lot of what's happening under the eye with crepiness is because of dehydration. So the lactic acid, what's genius about it is that it will brighten and exfoliate the top layer, but it also binds moisture to the skin. So it acts as a humectant, helping to pull in hydration so it doesn't escape from your skin, which is really important and really kind of cool when you're doing a treatment like this, because I wouldn't want to just strip and dry this area out too much, because it could cause some issues with contact dermatitis and itchiness and all kinds of, you know, a histamine response. So that's why I prefer and use lactic. So can you use glycolic? Yes. I prefer lactic though. That's my point. Okay. Now I am using called the Perfect Bleach from a company called the Perfect Derma Peel. I love this, but this is not what I would recommend that you would use. I would recommend that you use a mild form of hydroquinone. This has 4%, it's medical grade. So use something that's more about 2%. If you have 4% already, or you already have a prescription for it, then you can use it, but just use way less. And at any time, if you feel like it's too sensitive on your eye area, use even less, or buffer it with a cream, or just put it on briefly and rinse it off. I hope that makes sense. I'll leave all this below the video. So I'm just using probably 1.5, I'm gonna use 2 pumps, so it's about a pea size amount. That's a lot. It's probably way too much, honestly. So I should probably just about 1 full pump. Now I am going to put it right underneath there. People have different ideas about what you can do around the eyes. Again, I'm saying I'm aggressive, so I put it right under there to really get it, okay? Close all the way underneath like that, right? So because the lactic was put on, it's not gonna pull that in. So yes, if you rinsed it and buffered it, it'll still pull it in, but because I left it on, it's actually gonna pull it in a little bit more because the pH is lowered. Pull that hydroquinone and product deeper into the skin. And then I just put it on my brow, okay? At first, you should only put it on your brow. Later, you can put a little bit more on the lid, but it's gonna travel with all that we've done already. Your skin is already open, so because I put on the brow, it's gonna go down a little bit. So don't put it on your eyelid, because if you do, it could go in your eye, and it could be just too much for your eye at first. So only right now, you're only doing the brow like this. okay? Like you would when you put on makeup as a highlighter. So you put it in the brow and on top part of the lid. I hope that makes sense, guys. Okay? And then you would only do this at night. You shouldn't do this during the day, and you shouldn't like go do this during the day and put on makeup or anything. This is a treatment. You're treating a specific concern under eye circles, and you're only doing this at night so your eyes will be protected. And also if you have any irritation or anything comes up, it's too sensitive, too itchy, you can just rinse it off. If you do get irritation, you know, if you do get irritation, you can use sodium bicarbonate, which is baking soda, to calm down some of the pH, which is raised and the eye is sensitive, so it might be a little too high for that area. So you could use a little bit of baking soda if you want. You could just do a cold compress with some even ice cubes on your eye, and that should calm it down. Or you know, even a little bit of vegetable glycerin, but that shouldn't happen if you're using the right things and you're just using very little. It's all about really being more consistent and about using less and building up a tolerance around this area, okay? So it's on there. It is a little sticky, but it's not bad. Like, it's not like too sticky where I feel gross. If you didn't have the hydroquinone and you wanted to use something else, that's fine. You could use like a vitamin C serum or something like that, and that should help brighten that top layer too and help with a little bit of the circulation. Then now, because we're taking off that top layer of discoloration, if you do have an eye cream that helps with circulation, then it'll actually work better, because now it'll go in, it's gonna go right in. Because under the eyes, there's no pores. So a lot of the problems with these eye creams that are helping with like dark circles that really don't work, I know you've bought a ton of them, I have, and they're a waste, because they have a hard time penetrating this area because there's no pores. And so this is a trick that you can do to help for further penetration of all your other products, or even eye cream, especially in this area. All right, this video went on a lot longer than I thought it would, so if you have questions, feel free to ask them below this video. I'll leave all the information of how to do this, the steps, below this video. Please just be careful. It's your eye area, so trust yourself to know, use less, kind of work your way up. And yeah, ask any questions below. And as always, stay gorgeous, and I'll see you guys really soon in a new video. Bye-bye.